What is up, guys? Welcome to my Blogger 100. This video is basically for secondary 4 students and also for AS and also A-level students. This is about differentiation. And as you know, the secondary 4 student is just learning about differentiation. So they are just learning about the basic law of differentiation, all right? And in encountering this type of question, they are asked to solve it using the very basic law of differentiation. So sometimes they are confused of what to do to solve this type of problem. So I'm gonna show you how you can solve this type of question. All right, so let's go and figure it out. Now the thing here, if you're just learning about the basic law of differentiation, it might be quite confusing, but if you are already you've learned differentiation sometime, like in some meetings, so you must, I believe what pops out of your mind is you have to solve this type of question using quotient rule. The name of that rule is quotient rule, all right? But since you are now just starting to learn differentiation, so it means you will not be asked to use quotient rule. So I'm gonna teach you the basic, a simple way to solve this kind of problem. Let's go. What I need you to do first is you have to expand and simplify this type of question. All right. So in this part, you gotta expand and simplify. It'll make it easier for you to solve it using the basic law of differentiation, unless you want to use quotient rule. But if you're not asked to use quotient rule, then let's go with the basic rule, and to do that you have to expand and simplify. So in this case, if we want to expand the numerator, in this case 1 minus x multiplied by 4x minus 1, you will get 1 times 4x, it will be 4x, and alright, I'm just gonna write it here, and 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, negative x times 4x is basically negative 4x squared, and negative x times negative 1 is basically positive 1x, alright? So if you want to try to simplify this, basically you will have negative 4x squared, 4x plus x will be 5x minus 1. So this is the simplest form for the expansion of, in this case, the numerator, right? Now, what about if we try to simplify the numerator and denominator? So to do that, this is what you need to go through. So y is basically, instead of writing this, I'm gonna write this one as the numerator, right? So negative 4x squared plus 5x minus 1 divided by the square root of x, okay? And in this case, since we are asked to simplify, it's better for us to simplify these two. This is what you need to do if you want to simplify. So I'm gonna separate them. Negative 4x squared divided by square root of x plus 5x divided by square root of x minus 1 over square root of x. All right. So this is how I try to break them apart. And now, by looking at this process, I can go on to simplify this type of question. So negative 4x squared divided by the square root of x, if you wanna go through it step by step, this is what you need to do. I'm just gonna change the square root to like normal exponent. It is not in the form of surds anymore, but in the form of exponent. So x to the power of half, right? And it's the same case with this x to the power of half and also this one. And now if I want to try to simplify this excuse me, if I want to try to simplify this, basically negative 4 x to the power of 2 minus half. And I hope you still remember the law of indices in to do this, because we are using the law of indices in this part. And the last, basically here, 1 is multiplied by x to the power of 0, but usually we don't write it as x to the power of 0, so we just write the constant. That's fine. However, in this case, I need you to understand that it is 1 times x to the power of 0, so basically 1 times x to the power of 0 minus half. Now, you can even go on to, simplify this part already, okay? How do you simplify this? Basically, negative 4 x to the power of 2 minus half. So 2 minus half is basically 3 over 2. So you can rewrite that as negative 4x to the power of 3 over 2, right? And then move on to 5x to the power of 1 minus half. It's basically to the power of half, right? And the same case with 0 minus half, which is negative half. Alright, now after you're done like this, so basically this is still y, alright? It is not dy dx yet. After you are, like you're simplified like this, like the question is already simplified, you can go on to differentiating it, right? So now it is dy dx. So what is dy dx in this case? So again, you will differentiate it using the basic law, and I assume that you know already how to differentiate using the basic law. So in this case, it's basically 3 over 2 times negative 4x to the power of 3 over 2 minus 1, and the same case with half times 5x to the power of half minus 1, and also positive half times x to the power of negative half minus 1, and keep on going until you get the simplest form. In this case, I'm gonna simplify this, and I only have negative 3 over 2, right? So I'm sorry, it is not negative over 2, but this one I still have negative 2 there, so 3 times negative 2 is basically negative 6 x to the power of 3 over 2 minus 1, or you can say that this is 2 over 2, alright? Because 2 over 2 is just 1. So 3 over 2 minus 2 over 2 is basically half. Alright? Now, you add it with 5 over 2 x to the power of negative half. Alright? And keep going to simplify this into negative 3 over 2. And now, normally in IGCSE, they ask you to change it into, like positive powers. And these, like we have like 2 of them, we have negative powers, right? So we gotta change them into positive powers. To do that, I assume that you know already how to change that in the topic of indices and also search. So this is what you need to do. And also this one, I'm gonna change it to search form. So I'm gonna rewrite it as this, and this part it will be like this one, and this is basically 2 x to the power of 3. So basically this is it. Alright? That's the final answer, and if you get the same, then that's correct. All right, so that's it. Good luck.